Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. How do you do, fellow regular people? You know, this visual right over here, I think this pretty much sums it up now, doesn't it? We're regular people, just like you. That's actually what these elitist Democrats are trying to convince regular people of. Yes, Kamala Harris is just like you. But of course, if that were true, then why would she have to lie to make the point? Well, you guessed it, they're full of it. All they do is lie and misrepresent in a manipulative attempt to get elected. It's so obvious what's going on. Kamala gets caught in yet again another freaking lie. Let's have a conversation about it and look at the overarching themes here. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So I gotta say, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are really identifying themselves. So far, they've identified themselves as communists and liars. First, of course, we know Tim Walz had his little stolen valor issue. Well, now I guess Kamala Harris wants to join in for the fun. Kamala Harris is claiming stolen valor, but in possibly the most cringe and idiotic way possible. She's now claiming to have worked at McDonald's when growing up in Oakland.
Think about it. 2 middle-class kids. One, a daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother. I had a summer job at McDonald's.
Kamala Harris is just like you. I mean, holy moly, what kind of image is she trying to paint for herself? I remember back in 2020 when she went on Charlemagne's show and claimed to smoke the reefer while listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg and Biggie, even though they weren't recording artists when she was in college. And now she's talking about working at McDonald's. Was Kamala Harris the out-of-her-mind high delinquent at the late-night McDonald's drive-thru, screwing up my order and taking 25 minutes to deliver a burger? Been there, done that. I guess that's an interesting message to be setting here. Yeah, the only problem with this claim is that nobody can confirm it. I know there's a story that's been bouncing around claiming that McDonald's corporate revealed that Kamala never actually worked for them and she isn't in their records. Apparently that's a fake news story, so I'm not going to say that. But come on, we don't even need a confirmation from McDonald's corporate. I mean, where did this story come from? You'd think Kamala Harris having a career in politics for all these decades that she would have mentioned this at some point, right? Her working class roots? Never, not once has she ever suggested, but now all of a sudden, as she's campaigning for regular lower and middle class voters alongside Tim Walz, as they identify themselves as non-elites who didn't go to Yale, now Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's? Give me a freaking break. And so here we go with Stolen Valor Kamala. This meme right here pretty much tells it all. This has to be the most idiotic thing to lie about. You have these elite Washington puppets who are both totally doing the bidding of the DNC establishment, trying so hard to portray themselves as regular people.
Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, JD studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. I had 24 kids in my high school class, and none of them went to Yale.
Yeah, we're just regular people who didn't go to those fancy schmancy schools. I used to work at McDonald's. Yeah, okay. Crazy enough, some of the Blue Anon shills are actually falling for it.
You know, everybody keeps talking about the joy, and I really think that that's what it is, but I also think that there's like a lot of solid expertise there and experience, and I really feel that people understand that these are citizens, these are regular people who happen to be in politics who really care about other people.
But hopefully most people have their heads screwed on straight, at least a little bit tighter, and hopefully they're asking themselves, in what world is Kamala Harris just a regular person who's relatable to poor people? We're talking about this Kamala Harris. Does that seem like just a regular person in touch with the working class? No, of course not. That is a Democrat elitist dressed in overly expensive designer clothes on a public servant's salary. The same Kamala Harris that got exposed wearing a $62,000 Tiffany & Co. gold chain during one of her Instagram and TikTok short videos, released not too long ago. Just regular old Kamala. Who's truly falling for this stuff? I mean, seriously. They're literally standing above their ivory tower in gold-cladded apparel, looking down on you after spending 4 years making your life financially miserable. Forget about all of that. Kamala Harris really cares about you. In fact, Kamala Harris is just like you. Give me a break. Hopefully people are waking up. It's the biggest scam in politics right now. I mean, for Pete's sakes, even far-lefty shill, total partisan Democrat hack Chris Cuomo was able to admit the truth about the DNC the other day.
Look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share.
And he's not the only one saying it. There's actually a viral clip bouncing around of a former Obama intern basically spreading the same message.
I just got back from the DNC where I signed up to volunteer. I've worked in progressive politics for a long time. I have worked for many different Democratic candidates, Senate candidates, House candidates, even some Democratic organizations. And as the years have gone by, I found myself getting more and more disillusioned with the Democratic Party, although until now I've never said that out loud or anywhere public. Throughout my career, I've mostly done campaign fundraising, so I've seen it the way that it works behind the scenes, and I know that candidates spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day just calling donors and begging rich people for money. It's pretty much the only people that they talk to. I mean, of course, sometimes they have to talk to voters, but the majority of their time is just spent calling and begging rich people to give them money for their campaigns. And what this inevitably means is that we don't actually live in a democracy. It's just rich people calling the shots and having the access to talk to the politicians. They're the ones that basically get their ear all day. They're the ones that can help shape and prioritize what the politician actually focuses on. When I first got into politics, I thought that Democrats were the party of the people. And at the DNC this week, I felt like I was in a building with the most elite and out-of-touch people in the entire world. It very much felt like, let's just have a huge party and forget all of our problems because the vibes are brat. When I was there, I didn't feel any connection to real America or the place that I come from, which is the Midwest, Kansas City, Kansas, and Missouri. I didn't feel any connection to the people that I know right now who are struggling to buy their groceries or to pay their rent. The people who want to know what both candidates are going to do to materially affect change in their lives. And when I was there listening to the speeches, I felt myself feeling mad because I didn't hear anything about the economy. Definitely not in Kamala's speech and not very much in the others as well. Instead, I heard generic platitudes, things like joy and respect and integrity, and what does that even mean? Let's make the military the most lethal in the world? I thought I was part of the anti-war party. I thought I was part of the party that fought for the underdog, that championed working people. When and how did we just become the party of academia and affluence? Because that's what we are right now.
You know, hopefully people are paying attention and they realize that this notion that Democrats care about you or represent you, that they're just regular people trying to work for the working class, hopefully people realize that that's the biggest snake oil in politics right now. These people are liars, and they'll lie about anything. Kamala Harris has a track record of doing that. Tim Walz, the exact same thing. They lie, and frankly, they lie with impunity. Tim Walz on multiple occasions has misrepresented his career and service in the military, and it's something that he continues to show no remorse for.
And the idea that you said that you were in war. Yeah. Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have. and I never will.
Totally dishonest, a straight up liar, but he just continues to use his service as a shield from all criticism. In other words, clearly showing absolutely no remorse for being a straight up liar. And actually, just a last minute addition to the video, this pops up on my timeline as I'm recording this, not even pre-planned. Tim Walz is now being accused of fabricating key details of political origin story that involved being turned away at George W. Bush rally. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz made up major aspects of the so-called origin story of his political career, in which he was ostensibly turned away from a 2004 re-election campaign rally for President George W. Bush and promptly vowed to run for office. Walz, then a high school geography teacher, has alleged that he and two of his students were held up by security and denied entry to the event because one of the youths had a sticker on his wallet supporting Bush's opponent, then Senator John Kerry. However, the Washington Examiner reported on Friday, citing sources and high school records, that neither of the teens were Walz's students, and they were not refused a spot at the Bush rally because of the Kerry sticker. What won't this guy not lie about? What won't Kamala Harris not lie about? Apparently frickin' nothing. I've never seen a campaign so dishonest in my entire life, and that's it. I'm pretty much gonna end the video by saying that. Again, the facts speak for themselves. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.